friend, and he mentioned that he asked you for a list of things you wanted.
Oh, yes, 2 days ago.
He did.
Yeah.
So
And
if
I
we
did
could get
ask
that
him.
list, we might be able to work on something with that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we have to do. About downstairs and about what we're going to do in 2.5, 3 years from now, we can't give you.
Right.
No, I understand that. I just like to put that.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We also, as I'm sure you can appreciate, we have, there's teens, like a lot of
Yeah.
towns and bigger municipalities have teen centers that
Yes.
coincide with maybe senior center. So we should probably
And I think
that
that's
into
good too.
consideration. Yeah, of course. And then we have the babies downstairs in the basement that
So
are.
you know our background, we all have children.
Yeah.
I have 4.
Right. Okay.
So I understand that. I don't want to take anything away.
No, you wouldn't be. I'm just saying we have multiple constituencies that we have to try to plan for.
Have you looked into the Manor Club at all? I know they have their.
I'm a member there, I'm a member of it. I went from working, I couldn't just do nothing. So, yes, the Manor Club can rent us things, but not on a regular basis.
I'm sorry, can do what?
They can rent us rooms, but not on a regular basis.
And do you know what their rent cost
No,
would be?
because it wouldn't satisfy us anyway. They can't say, well, Tuesday you come to 4. That's not what we need. We need a place. We really need a place.
So
You
you're
want an
looking,
everyday, you want an everyday place
I
that
want an
seniors
everyday place
can go,
that
like you
seniors-
Doyle in New
Correct,
Rochelle.
I was there.
That's
I
what
went
you're
to
looking
3
for.
centers. What a difference.
well, they're a
Even
city
attitude.
besides.
I went to Yonkers.
They're a city.
They're all.
They're a
Yeah,
city.
no, I realize.
We're a town of
Population.
10,000 people.
Oh, no, I know, but I don't think the seniors should be as more.
No.
No, I mean, my mother passed away, but she didn't even know this was here.
And that's interesting because we have it all over our website.
But
We-
they don't have websites.
Okay, we
There's gotta be a way to let people know we exist.
Ed.
I'm Ed Doty. I live in Chester Park on Oak Avenue. There are a couple things. First of all, I think that in my experience here, the town itself is primarily focused on younger people, not on the senior citizens. And now, Dan is a senior citizen, so now maybe we can all focus on that. But it's really something that I think we need to add to the largest growing population in Westchester County of the seniors is people over 85.
Over 85.
Over 85 and older is the largest growing population. And 20% of the people in Westchester are senior citizens. This is an important constituency, particularly if we're concerned about people staying after their children have gone to high school. It's very difficult for people to remain in Pelham. There's no senior housing that's been designated, but there might be. That'd be very nice. But we do need to demonstrate that the town itself is interested and responsible and responsive to senior citizen concerns. So one of the things that we're concerned about is standing in line, along with all those other things that Dan just outlined, to make sure that seniors are not ignored and not forgotten about. As we look at all the various spaces that are possible in terms of the town, not only this possible building, but the village Sparks Hall might be available.
That's not ADA either. I checked.
No, I know, it's not, and neither is this. And we have long had a discussion about the elevator that should be here, et cetera, et cetera. This is something that if we want to tackle it, we can. But Ann and I went to Lewisburg last week. They have a senior center that meets at a firehouse. Lewisburg is also a small program compared to the Doyle Center or other places. And the list of things that recreation department provides is really substantial compared to what we provide. here. And not to cast aspersions on any staff person, but we don't know what Carolyn's job description consists of, how much time she's supposed to spend on senior concerns, or what she's supposed to do. But the town of Lewisburg has a 16-passenger van, which they use to bring people to the meetings. The meetings are once a week, but that's it. But they have this gorgeous-looking van.
But see, that's what I'm talking about, Ed. If you came to me with a list and said, I would like the van to take people to the meeting once a week, we could look at that.
Right, yes.
Let me finish. If the town could supply a meal once a week for that, but and then you just ask about Carolyn. Well, we can easily get Carolyn to give you what her job description, we can give you her job description. So these are things that we're not avoiding. No one asked. So if you ask what we will give, we will give you all that. But what we can give you, in Lewisboro, if you look, the senior citizens, the population is similar to us, but they have land.
Yeah.
We don't have land.
No,
I mean, somebody wants me to put a pool up. Somebody wants me, I have people in Pelham that can't get a commuting spot to go into Manhattan to work because there's no commuting spots anymore. So that we can't create. But to answer the questions that you just said, we can answer those questions.
Of course, we can't create more land, but we manage to do a lot of different things.
Correct.
We have facilities that are underutilized, that are not.
What facilities do you think are underutilized?
Every time we say something, you can say, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that.
No, I didn't say that. I said ask what facilities are underutilized.
Should take a look at what is available, what the needs would be, what's available.
And we're asking what needs are you asking for, and we'll see if we can do it.
Yes. Okay, so that's an important principle. One of the things that would be very helpful is to make that small kitchen in the townhouse, which is this little tiny thing, a possible place where cold lunches could be provided by the county. How could that happen? There's a dishwasher that doesn't work. If that dishwasher comes out and another refrigerator is put in there, there'd be 2 refrigerators. It would be enough to provide cold lunches for people. That's one thing.
Boom.
Yes.
If you had given that to us, and if I knew the dishwasher was broken,
if you guys had asked,
yes.
You
have to ask us.
Well,
yeah, you have to ask us. I mean, when the recreation department says to me that they have to get new nets, I don't go to them and say, by the way, they need new nets. Right. They come to me.
So you just do nothing but are responsive.
Respond.
You never initiate anything.
Well, let's not start, let's not go down the path. That's not worth it. It's not beneficial for anybody to be pointing fingers at anybody else. Let me just say that right now. Carolyn is your point person. So Carolyn should be conveying your requests to the board or to the rec supervisor, and then here to Mrs. McLaughlin at the end of the, sorry, Ms. McLaughlin at the end of it. That's the way it should be communicated. I'm sorry that hasn't worked appropriately for you. But let's start fresh now. So now we know there's a viable way of communicating what your requests are and what we can do. I didn't even know the dishwasher was broken. So, I mean,
if I never use a dishwasher, why would I know?
Right behind this little kitchen is a storage room. But if we just break through, we could have kitchens.
Because then we don't have a storage area. And you have all of your supplies in there.
No,
what do we do with
no.
this?
Just take
That's what I'm saying.
Should we talk about what we're doing?
Well,
We are actually doing.
look at it.
We're actually doing something. Councilwoman Berg has taken the initiative to look and see what we can get out of that townhouse.
Yes.
And we were actually there Saturday, and we are going to work on that.
We're reorganizing. We're using
That
a
is
high
not
school.
our stuff.
Right.
So,
Right.
we, you know. when
well,
we
it's
say-
good to know that it's not your
And we're
stuff.
glad to know that now, yeah.
It's good to know the dishwasher doesn't work,
That's
so.
also good, right?
So
But
there's
the
been
microwave
some-
works.
Okay, so there's
But we
communicate.
have no oven, so we can't have hot meals. But that's okay.
We would, Ed and you, we would look, Kristen actually looked out the window about busting out that room.
Yes.
And I'm not saying we can't do it. I mean, the playground for the children's center just got redone, but we are gonna look at that.
Yeah, I think that's the cheapest and the quickest fix. I mean, I was in construction, that's not hard. So, that's the truth. So, one other thing, he did bring up about the centers, and yes, and the big thing, if I could continue my list, okay, Ed? So, the vehicle we had, originally, we had 5 days a week. I believe we had 2, now we're down to 1, and they said 3. Carolyn told me today, by the way, I like Carolyn, I think she's doing whatever we to go to her. Now we have it for 4 days, but it's limited only to medical.
That's correct.
So I don't know why we can't have it for shopping, or for, because she said it's not used that much. Well, then let's use it.
Oh, so that should be on the list of what.
I have, because if I drive, if I stop driving, I am not taking care from Pelham to come here for me. I'm not doing it. And there's a lot of people that do not drive, and they're not that far. So if we had just for meeting time, not every day, at least that would be something with helping them. And there are people, Pelham, they just.
I agree.
So that's big.
I agree.
And to join, you have to be 55 and over. So you're welcome to join.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm in your book.
Yeah, I mean, right now, those are good suggestions.
So that's one thing. So if we can take up shopping once a week, pickups, consider that. I don't know if we have another vehicle, but I saw what he saw.
No, we do have
was-
another vehicle.
It was such a pleasure to see.
Kristen and I, we reviewed it with the recreation department. There is another vehicle besides the senior citizens vehicle.
So I don't know
There
the
is.
limitations, I don't know the costs involved, but I think this is a great improvement for the seniors if they got picked up, especially in the winter. They would walk here. I mean.
Well, you know, a lot of things stopped with COVID.
Oh, no,
And you
that's
know
true.
that, so it was kind of an
Absolutely.
18-month,
Absolutely.
nobody could do anything. So it's a good time for you to be bringing us
Yes.
these new suggestions. So it's, the world is maybe going back to somewhat normalcy,
Yes,
so
and
we can do it.
I don't want to this is not for me, you know that. This is for the seniors.
Yeah.
Because we're all not gonna be here forever. But if you can improve it and get more people in, it'll be a happier place. Everybody loves Pelham. I'm here over 40 years, I love Pelham. So, next.
Can you guarantee a happier place?
I can, we'll have singing. And then also, I want to do movies once a week, which I spoke to Carolyn today, not a problem. No one said we could do that. These are all little things to improve, to let somebody say, you know, I want to go to seniors.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is the center, that's the main thing, that they feel they can come. We don't have that.
Well, you want a
That's
space
the
that's
hard
just
one.
yours. You want a space
I want a
of your
space
own.
that I could say, you could come here between 10 and 3 or 10 and 4.
Every day.
If you don't want to come, fine, but you can bring your friend and have lunch. Oh, the lunch is at $3 from the county. Yes, you have to fill out a form. It has nothing to do with your income. They ask you that, but it has not a reflection on what you pay
But how do they get the lunch?
from the county.
It's
But
delivered.
There's companies that do this. I'm getting callbacks now because I think I called everybody in the state. And I'm finally getting some answers. I don't have them all yet, but they all have lunches, even the one in Lewisburg, but not us.
So why don't we set up a meeting with, after you get all this list together, with Carolyn, Kara, Councilwoman Kara, and I'll come, and,
that'd be great.
and we can see what.
This is my vice president.
Hello.
This is my second vice president.
How are you?
This is the advocate, and these
This
two
is the
gentlemen
mouthpiece.
are members. So, meals, yes, once a week, meetings, yes.
I would, well, we would look forward to a meeting because, you know, again, Ed, and I don't, you and I know each other too long to say we were trying to get on each other's throats. But we can be proactive, but it's really, really better when people come to us and say, I want a pickleball court.
Correct.
We didn't go out and say, let's make a pickleball court. They came to us, we made a pickleball court. But if we don't know certain things,
No, I
we
agree.
can't, you know, so.
In my 21 years on this board, it's the first time the seniors have ever come to one of our
That's why I'm
meetings.
here.
Well, I give you, I applaud you for that. 21 years, I've never had a senior.
You have to advocate for yourself. But also, the other thing that I know I personally would love to help too is like any programming, because that's something, you know, we all up here know different organizations and people who would be willing to come, and the library does an amazing job. Like the library is doing a seminar in like 2 weeks about how to negotiate to buy a car. You know, you all should have that information. That would be a good, you know, things like that.
That's true.
So we could potentially maybe say to them, oh, could we bring that to the seniors?
Absolutely. We
So-
welcome speakers.
Absolutely. Well,
Anybody.
I'm happy to help with that.
The last thing was, they would like to know about open membership for others. The clubs we went to had other people from other areas, welcomed us, they wanted us to join at an annual fee. So our bylaws do not say that. We cannot have.
But you know there are a lot of people who live in Mount Vernon and New Rochelle who come to the meetings.
But they weren't Pelham.
Former
They
residents?
were former Pelham residents, yes, that's true.
All right.
So,
Well, 2 women told me their friends brought them. So,
no, there's no member that
At
has
the
not
lunch I
lived
went
in.
to.
Oh, they can come for lunch or something. They can come to parties, but they're not members if they have not lived in Pelham.
Hold on one second.
You have updated bylaws? This is the only one
That's the
we have.
only one, I
Is it
would
the
like
only
to
one?
update that, yes.
Oh, we should update that.
The last one I updated, I was Trotter.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was on the board when that happened.
I was working,
I was working too, but I happened to be
The
on the board.
bylaws?
Yeah.
yes, very
Um,
old.
What I'd like but all of us to think about is if we can't get to the seniors through technology, how do we do that?
yeah.
Mailings.
But we don't know where they live.
We can get that from Carolyn. She
Right,
has-
Carolyn has.
Carolyn has it all.
I don't think she has a full list.
No,
Because
she
I
doesn't.
talked to Ed about this several
Oh, no?
times. And she does not have a very robust list.
I mean, one of the things I would like to see the town do is a mailing to all households
Oh,
with
I-
some questions about, go ahead.
Excuse me, I did talk to Carolyn about that, and she said in January, they do have a mailing that goes to every house in the town.
We do, which for the list that goes.
No, but that's focused on the emergency.
No, but
Right.
that's sent
Now,
to every.
Yes.
Every household,
But
so we could
I
edit
don't,
it.
most of the people
right,
here
exactly.
That's right.
are
Exactly.
not on that list.
But they
because
can
of
add, but
the-
you can add it to that mailing.
We'll
No,
add it to that mailing.
well, all right, but if the town were to ask, what are the needs that seniors have in the town?
That's what I'm asking.
Yes,
That's exactly what I'm asking.
Yes.
I'm not gonna ask 8,000 senior citizens, I'm gonna ask the senior citizens group,
Exactly.
give me what you need,
No,
what do you
but
want?
also there are lots of people that are seniors that live in Pelham, but we're not in touch with them. The town could be in touch
We
with them.
are on an annual mailing. Ed, if we go out and ask 12,000 people what they want from the town of Pelham, we are going to get, I want a townhouse, I
I will
wanted
move.
this, I
More
want
stable,
that, I want a
lower
pool,
taxes.
I want taxes to go down, I want Dan McLaughlin to get shot. It's unbelievable. You can't go out and say,
Yeah.
so, for instance, I'm a member of the Civics. When we
Yes.
get together, we know what our needs are and we ask for that, okay? And what I'm saying to you is your organization, how do we get more robust, which we're talking about doing the mailing? And then you come to us with what you want. Not, you can't just go out and ask 12,000 people what they
No, but
want.
we could do a
Survey?
a survey to find out what the
Well, that's what you can put in
needs
this mailing.
Yes,
That
yes.
mailing has been inadequate, and we can change it then, that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, just,
And you all should look at your programming and maybe what your goals are, and you could share those within the mailing out and ask people to please get in touch with what they're interested in doing to see if you could supplement that for the next time. And, you know, this is all very timely because
It
you
is.
might not know this, but in October, we all sit down for the day and go over our budget for the next year. And that's where we allocate the resources that we have to the different departments that we oversee. So this is great that you're here, wouldn't you say?
I mean, we, this board, I know for sure, would do anything that we can within our power to give not only the senior citizens, but to give recreation programs. I mean, on my times on the board, we never had a lacrosse program. Somebody came to us and said, we'd like a lacrosse program, okay? Again, the pickleball, we did the pickleball. We did rugby, we never had a rugby program. But, so what we're trying to do as a board is respond to the residents and their requests, and any request that the senior citizen had, we will definitely look at, definitely.
And
Yes.
I just want to clarify too, the reason why I brought up the teens is because a lot of the teens that are that group that kind of outgrow the recreation programs.
Yes.
I mean, the recreation, unless it's very sports oriented, the recreation programs really go up to like grade 5. So then there's this other, you know, so.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned that.
Yeah, but they're all important, we're all important.
Of course,
Yes.
agreed.
So we should just get together as a group, talk to Ann, and let Ann present whatever.
And then have that list at the meeting.
Yes.
And we can
So we have
have
to
the
be
discussion.
Yes.
Does the Pelham Manor Board have anything to do with this?
No.
There's
No.
nothing, right?
No. That's a great question. The Village of Pelham and the Village of Pelham Manor, whatever they don't want to do, no, I'm serious, is what we do, okay? So for instance, we never had a town court. There was 3 courts before.
Yeah, I know.
Now, they didn't want to do the courts anymore. So we do the courts,
Oh,
okay?
there's no court in Pelham Manor?
No.
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I'll give you, I think the most funny one of all. The Village of Pelham didn't want to do dog licensing anymore. We now do the Village of Pelham dog licensing, but Pelham Manor does their own dog licensing. So whatever service that currently is being supplied to the residents of the 2 villages, if the villages don't want to do it, we have to do it. And that's how we got the courts, and that's how we got the tax collection, that's how we got the tax assessor. So
So we will have a meeting, hopefully.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
You have my name, address, telephone number, and
Can I put it on here?
Yes. I will be
Are
happy.
you saying to me that you're not gonna stay for all of our committees?
Well, I would have, but you convinced me that it wasn't time.
And I just wanted to mention, you had mentioned to me about donations from maybe local businesses, which is sort of outside what we do, but I did talk to Christina
Oh.
Chinese, I never say her name,
Chinese.
Chinese, and I got it on her radar, and I'm gonna talk it through a little bit with them and play Bouchon.
That's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Which is the Chamber
Yeah, that
of
was very
Commerce.
good.
if you
The
didn't-
Chamber of Commerce.
Right, okay. So you understand, it's not about me.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
no,
no.
we know.
We do, Ann.
And-
We
You're
understand.
a
advocating,
voice to us,
And
so, yeah.
I hear things, some things, which I'm sure you hear too, are not important. It's just one at Greg. Others are important.
Right.
Agreed.
And
Yes,
that's what I want to
absolutely.
discuss.
Agreed. That's why I don't listen to Ed that often.
Ed has been a great help to me.
Yes.
I'm sure he has.
Yes.
All right, and just a reminder, the Senior Citizen Club meets Mondays from 1 to 4 in the main room. The
Right.
senior exercise program is Tuesday and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 11. Senior cards in the main room is Wednesdays and Fridays 1 to 4. And yoga in the main room is Fridays from 10 a.m. to 11. And these are all free activities.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Did you just make your report?
No, this
Well,
was
that's
from,
bad.
Well, we
this
do
was
have
from the
a
town
calendar.
update,
We
that
have
was
a
my.
calendar now, so I would also like to start sending that, but since we don't have mailings, I'm not doing that. And I just
But
need
you
to
could-
sit down
there's
with
no
the
reason-
prisoners that I work with.
Why couldn't
Why
we
couldn't
have a
they be in the
mailing
recreation?
of
Well,
all?
that's what should be part of the meeting.
Rec
That's what.
Yes, that's
Rec
what I'm
can
saying.
send it out to anybody who's a member. We
Well,
can do
I
a
don't
mailing
know
for
who
you.
pays for that.
The rec, we
Yeah,
do.
okay.
We
But
will.
I was told they might not wanna do that, it might be too expensive.
Well,
Well, if
look,
it's only to your members, you only have 60 members.
No, but we wanna mail it to everybody.
That should be part of the agenda of the meeting.
yeah, that should be
Yeah.
part of the discussion.
That's the separation, and I live in Pelham Manor, and I have friends in Pelham Manor, they don't even know that we have a senior program. I said, why don't you join the seniors? What seniors? Oh, you mean the women's club? The Manor Club? No, the seniors. Oh, I thought that was just for Pelham, not Pelham
Yeah.
Manor. I said, what? if I'm the president, I live in Pelham Manor, doesn't that give you a clue?
I moved here in 1967, that's been said since 1967.
Long time, my son went to, what school did he go to?
Pelham High School?
No, not the high school, the elementary.
Oh, Prospect?
Prospect. So, I'm here a while. So, I just want you to know, I appreciate all your work. I appreciate you listening to us. These two gentlemen, I'm not gonna talk, they'll talk to me, of course, but they have problems with parking. So, not you, but you were
I'm
talking.
across the street.
No, not you.
I'm on the other side of the Chico's.
Your son.
The problem that he,
Parking for the seniors meeting, you're saying?
No, my son, because they've put a new building up.
Oh, yeah.
He lived in the building over there and out he went, he moved out. No parking. And he got a 7-month-old baby, so.
That's the village. That's the village.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
for coming.
it's nice seeing you
We
guys.
appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll come by Monday. Oh, yeah, maybe I'll.
All right, so that was one public comment.
Thank you.
We have another public
Thank you.
comment.
I really appreciate you, and we work.
Thank you. We appreciate the work you're doing.
We don't get paid. Remember that.
You didn't do it.
That's not cool. No, I know somebody had to start it.
Thank you.
Okay, I thank you.
Please.
And I'll come to your meeting. I'll call you.
Thank you for coming. It was a wonderful
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you.
And if you want to come
Good
to
to
a
know.
meeting
I'm
and
gonna look
speak,
into that.
welcome.
Okay.
Any Monday.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, since we're in the middle of public comment, Lisa is here to discuss the Village of Pelham activities calendar, which was, we agreed as,
Partial pay to support.
to support.
To support your calendar.
Which we
yeah.
Which
supported it.
is interesting that that came up again about how do you let everybody know
Right.
about something and
Right.
what's the cheapest and most cost. I kind of found out doing
Thank
this.
you.
So,
Thank you.
if you remember the last time Lisa was here,
You too.
No, I couldn't attend, and I thank you
Yeah.
for having me back.
Yes.
is Molly coming back, or do I need Molly back?
Yeah, Molly will
Probably.
be
What,
back.
what should I do right now?
I think she's being held hostage.
Maybe you can look at, this might be helpful
Sure,
to
you can look
look
at
at.
it while we.
One thing that's not related, so we can probably mention it, is it was interesting when we were trying to figure out how do we let everybody know, seniors, rec, what's happening. So we looked at this, I'm gonna forget the an acronym, but for the United States Postal Service, it's like a, direct mail.
It's
Right,
everyday,
direct mail,
it's
right.
everyday direct
EDM,
mail.
yeah. So there's that. And then more cost effective was to actually do an insert into the Shoreline Publications Pelham Post. So
Oh.
that was more cost effective than either bulk mailing or doing bulk mailing ourselves using an indicia, or doing a direct mail through the Post Service. So it was $1,136 plus $525. So for $1,600, we were able to reach approximately 4,500 households. That includes both Pelham Manor and Pelham Village. Pelham Village is 55% of those households. This information is from the United States Postal Service, has the 17 routes of Pelham and Pelham Manor that comprise the 10803 zip code. The available online are all of the postal routes, where they are, and how many residences are in each of those. So the one thing about choosing to do this form of distribution was, unlike direct mail through the USPS, they do not include, and this is too bad, They do not include the 388 business addresses in Pelham, 10803, nor the 372 PO boxes. So these are individuals and businesses. So it's interesting that all in, we've got 4,500 residential households, and then another 800 of these other kinds of things. So this calendar did not reach them, and that was not our goal, so we were lucky. So in May, y'all were so nice, I couldn't be here, family issue. We were hoping to, when we started to look at what the costs were, to serve all the Pelham households, we realized that we would like to try to get sponsorships to also include the all 4,500 households, so including Pelham. So we came to you and asked for about 500, I think it's $500. And you came back very reasonably to say, would you reach out to Pelham Manor also? And we did reach out to Pelham Manor 2 times, and the request was turned down. They did not choose to contribute the $300. Now, I do not want to be distracted, do not want us to be distracted about how things can feel so symbolic, right? Because it's really important to remember, besides all the intergovernmental relationships.
I hear you, Lisa.
Thank you.
It's just a disappointment. It's a personal disappointment. That's all I'll say.
It was a surprise and a disappointment. But that said, I am so glad the calendar was so successful. I did want you to know that we got a lot of feedback. And I want you to know also the fellow that I worked with and my colleague to get all the names of all your concerts and everything was great. Whatever his
Mike
name.
Iuzzi?
Yeah. Just a really responsive, professional, got us all the info. It was really great to work with him. And so I can't believe I forgot a copy of the calendar. It's in the car.
We know what it looks like. We all got one.
So,
I have mine in the car too.
So the way that we decided to handle this really optically was you wouldn't know who sent out the calendar. The calendar had a great graphic on the front.
I got it. It was great.
It had all everybody's, including Pelham Manor.
You're very kind.
Because that is, you know, you be like you want to see, right? You know, we're going to build good out of this. So, but what it does mean is that coming back, we had to close our own budget for the Arts Council's summer program. And unfortunately, we are like $500 short on the sponsorship goal that we had created so that indeed our friends and colleagues in Pelham Manor could receive the calendar no different from any family in Pelham Village. So that's why in coming back today, I wanted to let you know that I regret that the village, the other village did not choose to fund it. I did have good conversations with them. You know, that's just the way that went. Nothing, it was not contentious because, you know, those with the best manners never comment on the manners of others.
A lot of times my wife says it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
That's a great slick line, exactly.
What do you want?
Yeah, thank you. So what we are hoping is that you would be able to make, as we asked in May, a little less, a $497 contribution, not $512. And that, between the sponsorship revenue and partnering with the Pelham Arts Center and the Chamber of Commerce, who both made gifts or sponsorships.
So are you asking us, we approved $300 without any conditions, are you asking us to approve $497?
Yeah, 197 more, please, if you could add that, for a total of 400.
Do I have a motion?
I move.
Do I have a second?
But I think we have to, okay, no, discuss.
Any discussion?
No. I mean, I'm very concerned about our fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayer, $197. I mean, we are very responsible town government, and we want to make sure that we're not.
Are you being
tax.
No,
I can't read you right now. No, I mean, it just makes, you know, $197. To me, I think it's okay, but I don't want to
start doing this on a regular. What are you doing?
I don't know. Can we slap?
It's okay. It's
I make
okay.
a
You know what
motion
I'm,
to
yeah, I think
approve.
that's.
I didn't think you could make motions.
Maura makes a good point.
I agree.
That, you know, it's just not willy-nilly
Right.
that we give additional $197 because it is expending taxpayer money.
That's right.
On the other side of that, that particular piece of
Information
literature,
is beneficial to every member of this
Agree.
community.
but at the same time, it was also very beneficial to the town because it had additional publication of our concerts.
Correct.
And the
Yes.
library.
And the
Yes,
library.
the library.
It really
So,
was very
I
much
agree with
town
Maura
oriented.
that we have to be careful with the fiduciary responsibility, but at the same time, if you were to say bang for the buck, I would say adding the 197 would be something.
It's an expenditure that benefits all of our residents
I
and
also,
our programs.
I also just want to add that I did speak to a few members of the Pelham Arts Council, and they did tell me there are 3 concerts. They have, they have a separate set of concerts over across from Lanes Park. Yeah, and they told me they saw a number of Pelham Manor residents at those concerts, and they were, I think they attributed to this calendar that went out to all the households.
I went
So
to all of those.
we were,
They were fantastic.
I think we're glad about that.
Yes, I think that there's a place in the summer for some type of a simple flyer that everybody can get. And we'll hope moving forward that we're able to find sponsorships, because Dan, I did take seriously your comments in May about making sure that we asked reasonably this other, government partner, and that we did go back twice, so we really did try hard. And we really are really appreciative of your willingness.
So the motion is on the floor. Do I have?
Second.
It's on the floor.
Oh,
already.
we're voting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right, Lisa, you got it.
Thank you.
Favorite governmental.
Lisa, can I
You
just
say
ask
that
one
to all of
question?
them.
We've already approved it, and I'm just curious. You said it was successful. I was a little nervous when I got it that I was lucky that I saw it.
Oh, in the newspaper.
Yeah. I guess
Well,
next year I would just say we should post on Facebook and just say make sure everybody knows this is coming.
More media.
I have no idea if people got it or not. I
Well,
just
we think a
remember
lot-
thinking, oh, I'm lucky I found this
Right.
here, you know?
Well, and it made, we made the decision, we talked a lot about, should we, is it more likely to be, I agree with you, we have to do a campaign, but is
Yeah,
it more
just a little
likely to
bit.
be overlooked in the circulation flyer?
Yeah.
Or in the newspaper, when we thought the
It was
newspaper
better
was
in the newspaper.
closed.
Yeah, no, I think the newspaper was good. I just say flag it just to make sure
Yes.
people
Yeah,
know it's there, that's
Right.
all. Yeah.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Sure.
Okay, let's
Thank
get
you
on with
all.
the committee reports. You're
Thank
welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Councilman Zemansky
Yes.
with the fly car.
Yes. Just before I read the stats, we are going to set up a meeting, Dan and I, and good night, Lisa.
Good night, Lisa.
Rudy, the two Pelham, the two police chiefs, the two fire chiefs, Lieutenant Bellantoni, and our 2 consults, and the village administrators, hopefully this week, to talk about what our next steps are, because the 2 consultation gentlemen that we have come up with a mini RFP that we
Okay.
can look at. So
Okay.
we need the input. We finally got a little mini RFP.
Okay,
So we need everybody else's input
okay,
to move forward on that.
great.
So, it was pretty quiet. I did not hear about any incidents until I got home from vacation last week. I will talk about that in the August stats. The July stats total is 74 calls, 41 in Pelham, 32 Pelham Manor, 1 on the Hutch, with a backup of 8 minutes and 27 seconds for the backup ambulance. 58% of the calls were answered in 5 minutes and under, 66 in 6 minutes and under. That was July. What?
There must have been some that were responded to in a minute, because we waited. I was at an event where,
In July?
In July.
Or in August? Because
July, and it was over 45 minutes before the ambulance came.
I think you talked about it
Yes.
in
We
the last
talked,
meeting.
you sure it was July and it was in
July
June?
3rd.
Yeah, we talked about
Oh,
it
but
in
I
the
must have
July
talked
meeting.
about it, and I did,
Yes.
yes, and I did have an explanation, but
Yes.
a lot of people are not happy with that explanation. Let me
Well, I
say,
talked to Nick yesterday, was it Nick?
Frank
Frank.
Bellantoni, the lieutenant from Pelham
Yes.
Fire. Here's the issue I have with some of that. I can't go to Empress and say to Empress, this is the way you must run your organization. I don't have any right to do that.
No,
So if something internally in Empress, and I'll talk about it when I talk about the incident, if something internally is not working right in Empress, I can bring it to their attention, but I can't say you must. So I'm kind of hitting a wall there sometimes when I talk to them, and they are pretty curt with me right now. Dan Minerva, I tried to get an ambulance for the Tunerville trolley on the Tunerville celebration Saturday, and Tim Case had reached out and asked me to ask them for an ambulance, and the quote he gave me was $250 an hour. So to have a backup ambulance there. So I was like, no, we're not getting an ambulance for $250 an hour. Then he called me back the next day and he said, well, is this for Pelham? I said, yes. Why would I be asking for somebody else from Pelham? Then Pelham, and he goes, well, then it's $150. I was like, thank you anyway, we don't need it. They have fire in the, yeah, they have fire and stuff.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm hitting right now. That's why this other meeting is so timely to have.
Yeah.
You can't make a decision. This is a heavy decision to make, and we want to make the right decision. So that's why we're taking our time. Okay, yes, so we did discuss that.
The thing is, they need to provide you with.
They provide me with, they provide me with the explanation. And when I run that by Pelham Fire, they're not happy with the explanation, but I can't tell Empress how to run their business.
Yes,
for this
but
incident
we're
that
their
happened,
customer, right?
Correct. What happened, I'll give you the incident
We can be
that
unhappy
happened.
customers,
This was sent out, everybody
Yes,
got
everybody,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so in that incident, it was the medic on site who got disgusted with his own company and called him up and said, send another ambulance. And why haven't you rechecked? How do I tell them internally that if you don't get a backup from 60 in 30 minutes, then you have, I can't dictate to them what they do internally. I just know that our service sucked that day for that lady that was at the train station.
While you're talking, I'm gonna look to see for that answer that they gave us.
Okay. Oh, well, I have it here. I printed it out. What basically happened is they called Control 60. It was a lady at the train station who was inebriated, a little out of control. They called for a backup. They were told after multiple times that Osning was preparing a backup to come. The medic on site, their employee, got impatient, called his supervisor and said, what's going on? We're waiting for Osning. He said, that's ridiculous, take it back. This is our medic telling internally Empress what to do. Take it back and see if we have one of ours, and that's what happened. Somebody came from the Bronx and took her and transported her. But if he hadn't done that, so we don't have access.
Are we talking about two different things?
We're talking about the August incident. Her incident in
She's
July.
July,
was different.
and now you're talking about the August.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
All right.
That's what happened at this incident. So, you know, I want to tread lightly with them right now because I think if I don't know, I'm afraid to aggravate them even more. And I don't think it's on purpose that they're doing this. I just think it's still a mess. And I hear what you're saying.
Right.
I hear what you're saying.
And I understand that it is a
Countywide
countywide problem.
disaster.
It's a nationwide it's bad news.
Thank God we haven't.
Yes.
Thank God, and I won't say it.
Yes.
So hopefully it may be after this meeting this week. I don't know, we send out an RFP and then they'll really be calling you, Dan.
That's right.
Well, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
They have a bad attitude about it.
Yeah, right now they have a very bad
They're like the
attitude.
main
Yeah.
provider.
You
Not
didn't get
Scott,
it.
not Scott, he's, okay, it's the owners.
Right.
So, and I really will, I credit the village of Pelham and Lieutenant Bellantoni and the chief for being so on top of it, because if they weren't so on top of it, I might not have heard about that incident at all. So I have to credit both of them for their commitment to this and for even pushing us a little, and that's okay.
And that's sort of like this dishwasher. If we don't know about
Exactly.
the problem, how can we fix it?
Right, because Empress is not gonna tell me that the
Right.
lady waited 40 minutes to get her ambulance. Okay, for the month of August, 64 calls, which is low. Backup time, 8:49. Now, this is the other question that I have for them. If somebody waited 45 minutes out of all of those calls, how do we get a backup of 8 minutes, an average time of 8 minutes and 49 seconds?
Doesn't make
So
any
Scott,
sense.
I asked him that today, and he was like, let me get back to you on that. And Lieutenant Bellantoni also sent me the 60 control sheets, which it's like hieroglyphics to me. I can't read it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I said, Frank, you have to like interpret this for me. So he was gonna do that for me also, because we don't have access to those reports. They do.
We don't have like audit rights under like a contract with them? You know, I hate to say this, but this is like a red flag
There's
here.
probably something about audit in there.
Because something's really amiss here with these numbers and.
I hear you.
Because
It's
8 minutes is
also-
not a lot.
It's also what they use to come up with the numbers too. So there's a lot of
Right, you
unknowns
said
there.
that, yeah, that's true.
Okay, 32 calls in Pelham, 30 in Pelham Manor, 2 on the Hutch. And 58% were answered in 5 minutes and under, 68% in 6 minutes and under. Obviously, it is not the fly car that's the issue, because they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
We just sent them all of the, Mike just sent them all of the football games that are home, so that the fly car will be there. I actually have to ask them to send all rec stuff and rec stuff to them too, see if they can be there for some rec occasions. So, it's frustrating to me too. So,
Thank you for being on top of it.
yeah, I don't
It's
feel,
not an easy
sometimes I think they're trying to bamboozle me, and that's why I appreciate Lieutenant Bellantoni, because I call him and I go, am I being bamboozled? And he goes, well, this is what you really need to ask.
Yeah.
You know, so, appreciate his.
He's an expert.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Councilwoman McLaughlin on the recreation.
So we had a very successful summer. At Tiny Tots, we had 80 campers at Colonial, 90 at Simonoy, and we had Big Tots had 120 campers, and the day camp had another 90. They had some great activities to baseball games, Playland, the Bronx Zoo, Splashdown Beach, all the way up in Fishkill, Quasi Amusement Park in Middlebury, Connecticut, and the Picture House, and several other activities. So a lot of fun. I happened to live across the street from Simonoy and saw the fire department participating, the police department doing stuff, and it was very much a community-wide activity, very exciting. Fall youth and adult recreation stuff starts this week and next. Fall soccer started Saturday, apparently hugely successful again, and all the other activities, only a handful are closed as of yesterday, and sign up quickly and you can still participate. Some selections: jewelry making, superhero, ballroom dance, basketball, chess, yoga, boot camp, flag football, karate, ninja warrior, not sure what that is, but it sounds very fun. Tennis, rugby, running, theater arts, and there are special needs programs in the works. Just a reminder, if you'd like to play pickleball, you need a $30 permit, which can be purchased from and it takes place for the whole year.
So like a tennis permit,
Yes,
basically.
it's a tennis pickleball permit.
Gotcha.
And then you have access to sign up. And you can do the sign-ups online, and you can play pickleball at Julianne's, because as Supervisor McLaughlin mentioned earlier, people ask for it, and we put lines down on Julianne's Park.
I saw the game for the first time on Saturday.
It's an exciting game, right?
Yeah, it looked harder than tennis to me.
You don't have
It's
to
supposed
win
to
this.
be
My husband's
easier,
playing
right?
tonight, which is exciting. I'm not a runner, so. And the seniors, I reported what activities are going on for the seniors. I will meet with them in the next couple of weeks. Supervisor McLaughlin will join me, and we will answer their issues the best we can.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilwoman McLaughlin? Councilwoman Berg, court and legal.
Okay, so the court, they hired this summer a full-time clerk, Deanna DiPiero, and a part-time clerk, Eileen Gregware. They're handling some transitions at the office, working diligently to make sure the needs of the office are met. 3 new constables were sworn in this summer by Supervisor McLaughlin. John Zuccalillo, Dallas Ramirez Gillison, and its second ever female constable, Yolinda Adorno Marrero, who I've met a couple of times. She's fantastic. And I'm currently helping review their handbook for the constables. Supervisor McLaughlin already mentioned we have a project going on where the second floor of the townhouse, we have a team who's helping us kind of reorganize. And the reason it came about is the new constable, one of the new constables being a female, we needed to find a space for her to change. And so we were up there and we realized, you know, we think that, I'm gonna be really nice and say, we think we could maximize the space better up there. And so, you know, Dan had the idea of Supervisor McLaughlin to hire a local student who we did through the Pelham Together program. And she came here Saturday, and apparently she reorganized one of the closets with the Christmas trees and all that. So, and I talked to historian Art Cinta, and we have some ideas about how to help him organize his space as well. So I think that's gonna be quite a long-term project, but I'm excited about it. And then lastly, the Clean Energies Community Program. Dan and I worked together on a scoping document that was submitted this past weekend, and we're recommencing the heating and cooling campaign. The first time it was during COVID, and so we thought, let's maybe give it a shot again. And we could stand to get some funding and money for, if there's any kind of sign-ups.
Sponsor a meeting.
Okay.
Right, sponsor a meeting, and so, that's kicking off soon, sort of the end of this month. So keep an eye on the dates for that. This afternoon I spoke with an individual named Tom White, who's on the Village of Pelham Sustainability Board, and we need to discuss whether we want to do this benchmarking, where we look at our town buildings and see what we currently have usage-wise in terms of the energy, and to see if we can make it more efficient. And so, I could circle in with some people tomorrow. We have to get some documentation, and Tom actually offered to submit it on our behalf. And it just would give us a good idea of how we're doing, and it's compared to other municipalities, so we would know how we fare. And again, we could stand to get some money for that program as well. And with that, I have my very exciting justice reports for the last 2 months. As quickly as I can. Okay. For the month of June, this is June 2022, for Justice Kagan, he received an amount of $18,662. And for the month of June for Justice Gardner, he received an amount of $37,184. For the month of July, Justice Gardner received an amount of $22,089. And Justice Kagan for the month of July received $40,903. And the receiver of taxes reports for July of 2022, town county taxes received in 2022, $13,440.60. Penalties and interest, $1,258.16. Liens, $44,314.33. Miscellaneous, $541. Pro rata, $695.92, for a total of $60,250.01. cents received. And finally, for the month of August 2022, town county taxes received an amount of $14,900.87. Penalties and interest received $1,083.78. Liens $1,357.06. Miscellaneous $59. Pro rata is $4,301.16 for a total received of $21,701.87. And that is my report.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, Councilwoman Curtin on the library.
The library trustee meeting, their last trustee meeting was June, which I was in attendance. They didn't meet over the summer. Their next meeting is Wednesday this week, and I will be in attendance. As of today, the library has new hours, increased hours, which I think is great for the whole town. So expanding Mondays and Thursdays. So Mondays, the new hours are 1 to 8 p.m. And then Thursdays, the new hours are 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
That for school?
Wow. I think we just heard, the library had heard from folks that the hours should be
Later.
increased and expanded. And I think they had scaled back a little bit during COVID.
Right.
I think, I can send it to you. Mondays, 1 to 8 p.m. and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention really quickly, I had a discussion yesterday at the 9/11 service, which Joe Durnan so beautifully executed with your help, Supervisor McLaughlin. I had a conversation, this is about the issue of a town pool and what we all are doing about that. I had a conversation with
Dan's gonna take the first hole.
I had a conversation with Assemblywoman Pauland, who recommended I talk to the Mayor of Scarsdale, who they have a municipal town pool. And I reached out to her to find out if there would be a possibility that Pelham residents might have access to the pool with a non-residential membership. And she said it was definitely a possibility, and then I said I was going to introduce her to Supervisor McLaughlin and Kara as the rec liaison. But I think it's exciting. I think, and this would be for the 2023 season, obviously, because it's September. But just to give you very quickly, this complex in Scarsdale is between, depending on where you live in Pelham, it's between 6.5 and 9 miles away. It's off of exit 12 on the Hutchinson River Parkway, so it's super easy kind of to get to from here. There's 4 pools. There's a concession stand, changing areas, bathrooms, showers, basketball.
Yeah, they do have
They have a party. They offer swim lessons at an additional
Mamaroneck Road, not Mamaroneck Avenue, Mamaroneck Road.
It's exit 12. I looked at the directions.
They changed it to.
It's 311 Mamaroneck Road.
Yes, they changed the
Yes,
numbers on
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
But
21.
we're 12, we're Lincoln Avenue.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, you're not.
Oh my
They changed all of
God.
them.
It used to be
To
exit
get on the
21.
Hutch, it says used to be exit, what?
Yeah.
I don't think it's been that long.
You don't go on the Hutch till until you.
Yes.
Where
It was like the first month of COVID.
What is the old exit number?
The old exit
18.
number is 21. 21.
Okay.
And the new one's 12, so it's 311
Okay,
Mamaroneck Big Road. But I think anyway, if we could work this out, I feel like it would be a good opportunity for the residents, and if we had enough. And I think what we should probably do is really assess how many residents are interested in this, so that we can let Scarsdale know this is what we have, and we can help them market.
Well, how would we ascertain that?
I think we could probably just do a survey on either online from the town website or some other way. Because right now, I think we're hearing from
A certain group of people.
a certain group of people, and I think we really would want to know, is it more than just the 10 people who have said they were interested? Is it 50 people? Is it 100 families? So.
But just to add to that, Eastchester allows non-residents to join their pool
Lake
program.
Right.
Yeah, Lake Isle.
Which I would say is close.
Also, Rye, Oakland Beach also has non-residential programs. So maybe what we need to do is, after we speak to Scarsdale, is put that all on the website.
Yeah.
You know, that people, you know, there's people that don't, they just don't know those things. I'll just give you, for instance, and we have someone in the room that can confirm this. I don't know if you people know, but on the northern side of the tracks of the MTA, there are meters that are not permit holders.
Right.
For $4.25 for 16 hours.
Not anymore, thanks for that public service announcement. There are 2 available.
But, you know, people didn't know that, because the meters are $22. The town meters are $22 for
The village meters.
Yeah, for 10 hours. I said town.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Correcting that, we get no revenue from the meters.
$2 an hour, where there's the other place on the northern side of the tracks is $4.25 for 16 hours, so. Anyway.
The reason why I brought up the Scarsdale complex too is because they are seeing dwindling numbers in membership, and they're non-resident, they do offer a limited number of non-residential permits, and they're only, last year, I can't say what next year's prices would be, but last year they were $1,280 for family, and just so you know, at Lake Isle, it's more like $1,900 for a family.
Okay.
So it's a $600 savings if we went in this direction, which I think is significant.
I think it's very worthwhile to explore it and offer all these possibilities, because there's no pool going on Franklin here.
Right.
Okay.
And just a reminder of all the county.
Well, I went to the county pool. I went to
Saxon Woods.
Wilson Woods?
Saxon Woods. I went to Saxon Woods last Tuesday, before Labor Day. And it is a gigantic facility.
Phenomenal.
And it was free.
Yeah, free Monday through
because I was there
Thursday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why, and it was not
Crowded.
packed.
Mm.
No.
And you know, Tibbetts, which they have a lazy
That's what I was
river.
just gonna say,
I heard.
Tibbetts, yeah.
I've been, but I heard it's
It's
amazing.
right across the county.
They
It's
should put a
10 minutes
pool
away.
at Glen Island.
I
That
said
would be
the
nice.
same thing,
What
right
did
in
you
the
say?
middle.
Put a pool at Glen
At Glen
Island.
Island.
Glen Island.
Yeah.
That would solve all of our
Yeah.
problems.
We have so much water around us when you really think about it.
We do.
It's
Yeah, that's a good idea. So-
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Councilwoman Curtin?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need some new business, old business. We need to approve a resolution of the certiorari that I believe you all received in the mail. And basically, it is for 299 Wolf's Avenue. And the total cost that we have to rebate for 8 years is $296.59. Do I have a motion to approve the certiorari of $296.59 for 299 Wolf's Lane?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that takes care of that one. We should have done that back in May, by the way, but for some reason,
This is the house that is in front of that new building that went up?
I'm not sure. I know it's 299 Wolf's Lane.
Yeah, I looked it up. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's where it is.
Anyway, okay.
So I can understand why they.
Okay, we need to reappoint a member to the Board of Assessment Review, and that happens to be resolution, and it happens to be Joe Vitarella. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You may notice that last name happens to be the last name of our controller. That's our father-in-law.
She's also my brother.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's what I thought you meant.
I'm sorry.
That's what I thought he was going
on.
I'm sorry. You're 100% right. You actually, your sister-in-law said don't approve him again, but anyway.
He gets paid for that, right? You pay him for that? Kidding.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip something on the local law. I'm gonna go to the dedication of the K-9 plaque. As you know, we have a K-9 police officer, Sergeant Anthony Borsella, and he's been working with the K-9 unit for a long time. And he asked Pelham Post if they could put a plaque up for the K-9 units, as he calls them, his 3 partners, that have served the residents of Pelham for a long time and doing drug seizures, criminal apprehensions, evidence recovery incidents, and there are too many to list here. He's looking to retire in 2023 and would like to request, if it is appropriate, a small section of Veterans Park next door to the current police department be designated for memorial to the village's first K-9 jockey and Dutch and hunter that followed. This would be privately funded and it would be installed with the town and your approval. And he sent that to Pelham Post. And Pelham Post came back to the town and agreed to it if the town would approve it. Anyone have, do we have a motion to approve this?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
Discussion.
I would just like to, he wants to put the 3 dogs' names on there.
Right.
But if somebody comes behind him and has a 4th dog, what I'm saying is there a way to add a name to it if there's a 4th dog? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, like a plaque where you add
Yeah.
names, like with a little space.
What he said to me the other day is all of the plaque, that plaque is gonna be the same as all the other plaques in the,
And you can't add names to those other plaques?
No.
I would just feel, I know it sounds so stupid, but what if there was like a Mickey or something next and he dies and then he doesn't get to go on the plaque? Am I making up something that, tell me to shut up, tell me to shut up.
I would say this. I'm not sure you're gonna have a K-9 unit after he retires.
Okay, so that's the, okay.
And that's one thing. The second thing is, if in fact that occurred,
We'd figure out a way to do it, okay,
I
that's
just
all.
have a question, why
Rudy's
is the
gonna-
town being requested?
It's our
Because it's a
property.
village.
It's our property.
Oh, it's our property, okay. Thank you.
I would just say, would it be appropriate to have the plaque, also acknowledge, Sergeant Borsella's service as the first K-9 officer? Or just the dogs? I don't know.
Once you do that for him, what about this one, and what about that one, and what about Benefico?
So it's just the dogs?
Yes, I think it's specifically because of the dogs.
I think it goes back to, we got asked for this and we should respond to this.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Good
say
answer,
yes.
Dan?
Okay, sorry, that was my discussion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, the next thing is the local law. All of you received that in the mail, thank you very much, Tom, putting together. And basically, there's an explanation, Tom did an explanation of why we were doing the local law regarding video conferencing. And as you know, we did a lot of video conferencing when we had the COVID, and we want to make it a local law, which Tom put together with the help of Mount Kisco.
I think so, right?
Yeah, Mount Kisco. Do I have a motion to accept this local law?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We're not accepting it, we're just putting it out there. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Molly.
we have to,
Publish it.
And do a public hearing, right?
Correct,
Local law.
which will be next week, next month. But first we have to get it on the website as a proposal.
Yes.
And that's what
So
I'm
that
asking
will
now.
happen, and then we will have the public hearing
Right.
and vote on it at the next meeting.
Right. So anybody have any questions on it?
Who just, Kristen favored that, and who?
You? Yeah.
There's one part of this where it says, I think I read it, it said, et cetera. I just wanted to know.
Was that in the memo or is that in the law?
Oh, okay. I think maybe it was in Dan's memo about what it would include.
It was talking about reasons why you can, video conference it.
Right. Should we add like, I don't know, something reasonable like a natural disaster?
Well, there is,
There's some examples.
there's something in there about that as well. There's no et cetera in the law.
No.
And there's also a provision that, where is it, which one? Yeah, like in 11, nothing herein shall prohibit a public body from holding meetings entirely by video conference, with no in-person requirement during a state of emergency.
State of emergency. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah,
Okay, yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
So the one thing I noticed is, I think it also requires that we have a policy, so I think.
Oh, I have to
there's,
put
like,
that to the
this-
manual?
I think so, and it has to be conspicuously posted, so we'll have to do that. I think the policy is literally just gonna like take from there, take from the law itself, and then we'll create a separate policy.
I'm not 100% convinced that the person who's conferencing in has to be within the municipality.
Right. So
there has to be, and barring, if it's not a situation where, there's a public emergency and it's subject to that, you have to have a physical quorum within the town.
Right.
But then, so 3 people have to be here, the other 2 can conference in from
Europe.
I don't.
Because if you had a death in the family, you probably
Yeah,
had to travel
right,
to another.
exactly.
But there was some question in one of the local town laws that said everybody has to be in the, may have to be, it was like, has to be in the town itself. Obviously it didn't envision, but I don't think that stops us from moving forward with this.
Yeah.
And I think if we had to do a separate law after maybe some research, we could do a separate law or amend this law or whatever we would have to do. I think it's unclear.
Yeah.
Whatever I read that you sent me,
It doesn't make sense, like why, what's the point, right? I mean, so you can be, across the street and that's as good as it's gonna get. I mean,
It's kind of weird to have that requirement if you want.
yeah,
They all.
if you're already video conferencing.
But that's an old law, right? It could have been from 50 years ago, whatever, saying you have to be in the town where to vote, right? Not of course envisioning this change in technology happening. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think we'll do a little research. Maybe we just see what other towns are they enacting a separate law saying you don't have to be physically in town as long as there's a quorum of people in town, whatever, something. I think it'll be. Okay.
So we're proposing a local law. What number is it? Do you know, Mom?
3.
Local law 3. Are we all in favor of proposing this law?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so you have to publicize it,
Yes.
Molly, for next. Okay, thank you. We talked about the 9/11 ceremony. I thought it was terrific. We had both police, both fire together, walking in together.
And Dan made that quite clear in his statements that he was very proud to see both villages and both departments together.
It was absolutely beautiful, very moving.
The singer was phenomenal.
Right.
Michael Mikolov, right?
Michaelov, yeah.
Yeah, he, is it Michael or Matt?
I'm sorry, I
I think it was
apologize.
That's Michaelov.
Yeah,
Mikolov,
Matt.
yeah.
He's involved in getting his, Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, like his brother as well.
He sings like a dream.
Yeah.
Beautiful voice.
It worked out very well, and thank you people for coming. Budget workshop, October 12th.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Yeah, October 12th.
Look at Rudy, Rudy's like,
Do I have to make a resolution to make you the budget person?
I guess I just have to be reappointed, yes.
Yes, I'm
October 12th.
reappointing, yeah, I'm reappointing, Ruth, it's not a resolution, the reappointment of Ruthie as the budget director.
What's that?
Hmm?
What's her name?
What's your name, Rudy?
Yeah.
Ruth Ann.
Ruth Ann
I'm sorry,
DeSimone.
Ruth Ann DeSimone. Oh my God. Everybody's got a little bit of,
That's
The
because
longest meeting ever.
That's because Karen wanted the meeting to go past 8 o'clock tonight. She told me yesterday she got her
well, you got a wish because now I would like a motion to go into executive session.
Wait, did you
I
make
have
the
a
town-
question.
can you
What
do the
time does
shredder?
the
budget
budget start?
The shredder.
Good question. You send out the budget schedule? So
Not yet.
No,
It
I
will
said,
go out,
yeah.
yes. It starts at 8:30. Well, you should be here by 8:30.
Okay, thank you.
If you get
What
her at
time,
8,
8:30?
there might be a bagel.
No, at 8:30 there's
No,
a.
if you get here at 9, it might be a bagel.
Okay, I need a motion to go into executive session for
You got the
personnel matters.
shredder, the mobile shredder.
I'm sorry, mobile shredder.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead, Molly.
The mobile shredder will be here October 1st from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the back lot. Details of what you can bring and what you can't are on the website.
And I wanna say, I went to the one the last time it was here, it's amazing, you just pull your car up, they take the boxes out, they put it in the shredder and you leave.
Wow.
It's amazing, I highly recommend, yeah, do it.
I have nothing.
I'm blessed.
Okay. Again, I need a motion to go into
So
executive.
moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
To discuss the personnel matter. All right. Okay.
Let me turn off the.
Do you have the lease for the children's center? Because I have it in my,
We have the new one, right?
Yes.
and here it is.
We'll leave it there.
Here it is. And I needed to fill out another form for the constable grant. Can you put that in the file?
Do we have a grant for the constable?
Because,
Do we
yeah,
have a file?
I would hope. I sent it in.
To,
And I copied everybody.
Was this,